You are now entering a dangerous liberty zone where God-given natural rights are held sacred and exercised. This is your warning. Tyranny, fascism, and censorship will not be tolerated. Ideas will be exchanged freely. Rigorous debate and open discourse is encouraged. If you are weak and your beliefs are fragile, you should leave now. Prepare yourself. We are now live on the Dangerous Liberty Podcast. All right, folks. Happy Wednesday, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Dangerous Liberty Podcast. We're glad to be back. We got a lot to catch up on, lots going on. We had a good time down at Pigg River, had a great time down there with Mr. Michael Henn. We had Mr. Bob, we had Paul. Of course, we had Ray for a couple days. But, yeah, it was a great time, man. We finally caught up on some videos that I was needing to shoot. Got a lot of good content, and it's good to have you all here today. Summer, you had a good time at Pigg River. Summer shot 1,000 yards for the first time with 300 PRC.
I did.
Got it on video. You guys will be seeing that. Yeah.
Do I get like a special award?
Oh, you get an award.
Oh, I knew that was
giggity. I want to say hi to everybody. Jason, TG sponsor, Harold Shepard, Con, Mike Henn. Who else we got in here? I saw Lori in here. Lori, Jason Ross, MPCV, Jeff Johnson, as if I haven't seen you and Jason all day. Drones under 2A, good to see you. Who else we got over here?
MPCV.
I already said that. If you guys are tuning in, you haven't said hi, make sure you say hi in the comments. Look, I don't have an agenda tonight. I just wanted to get on here and talk a little bit.
No agenda?
No agenda.
I'm just kidding.
No agenda.
What?
I have been stuck over in that chair that's like 15 feet from me, editing my butt is sore for the last, just sitting there editing for like the last 4 or 5 days. I just opened myself up to lots of jokes.
You did.
I'm waiting for Jason and every other
Even I was like
uncouth person out there.
Not a great thing to say on here.
I've not been watching the news. I couldn't care less about current events, to be honest with you on that. But lots of good stuff. We got to run the KDX rifles out there at Pigg River. Super impressed with really everything from them. Again, you guys will see a video of that. Yeah, got to shoot the 50. So did Mike and Bob and Noah. Noah shot it a bunch.
The 50 came out after I left.
Yeah.
I had to leave. Some people have to work.
Some people have to work. But yeah, as a matter of fact, the Trimmer 50 we got right up there. That thing is a beast. Let me tell you something. I didn't realize how much recoil on the M107 that the recoil mitigation system actually mitigates. I mean, that thing does a pretty good job, because when you're shooting just a standard bolt action without a reciprocating spring assisted barrel, it's a whole nother ball game, especially when you take off the brake on that thing.
Did you take off the brake?
Well, we took off the brake, yeah, and we used the suppressor on it. That about doubled the recoil. So if you're going to use a suppressor, you might want to go with the 50 RR.
Yeah, the Ultra 50 RR
from T-Back. No, my shoulder is not. It never was bruised. I think the gun was bruised. I have to look at it, but no, shockingly.
I see Jeff's comment. Did they give you that Area 419 shirt when you bought a new press? How does Summer like it?
Actually, they sent Summer and me a just as part of a swag pack.
They sent you a shirt, but they sent me a shirt and a sweatshirt.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Everybody loves Summer. Everybody loves Summer.
Well, I'm just the one hitting purchase every time.
They know what yeah,
they know where their bread's buttered.
They do know better. Yeah, we also got I got it out in the truck. I haven't even pulled it out yet, but I do have a new press. Got one of the Zeros.
Zero Gen 2.
Zero Gen 2. Zero Gen 2. So we'll be playing around with that tonight.
Yep.
Look at this. Harold said ratings are going to go up when you're here.
Oh, yeah.
Of course they will. Of course they will. Read your little letter, the karma one. That's actually a good point. You know what? That's actually a good idea. I am going to read this letter. And
which letter?
That from that email I was telling them.
Oh my gosh, the crazy person.
Yeah. And I'm going to talk a little bit about customer service.
We need to give some context to it too.
Well, we will. I'm going to. If I can, I thought I took a screenshot of it. I know I did. If not, pull it up. Pull it up in the email.
I don't remember that person's name or how to find it, baby.
Anyways, I'll have Summer look for it. I'll try to. We'll try to pull that up.
It was from a hush mail account.
It was from a hush.
Hold on.
Hush mail account.
I got it. You want the original email?
Yeah. And then I got a response in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Is this from my account? Find my response too. I'll just read the whole thing.
All right.
Yeah. So, number one, first of all, I want to thank you guys. Look, we're growing leaps and bounds. Summer has a plan for employing new people, which we need. The other thing that's, kind of unique about our business is, well, there's two things that are really important to me. Number one, that we have good customer service. And what I mean by good customer service is the technical support and being able to talk to people. Summer stays on the phone all day long, talking to customers, clients, helping them out. And then, I probably spend 8 to 12 hours a week on the phone talking to clients. And these phone calls are never short, right? These are usually like 45 minutes consultations talking about what caliber people want, what optic, scope ring height, all the stuff that we do that does take a certain level of knowledge and experience that, if you're calling, and I think your optic and some of these other companies are great, but if you're calling those, number one, you're unlikely to get an answer. And number two, especially if you're going through some of these other big wholesalers or whatever else, Amazon or whatever else.
I don't think the people answering the phone are necessarily the experts.
Well, even if you do get, the point is that number one, we have a pretty specialized business, right? So we can't just hire anybody. So that's part of it. The other part of that is, I want to be able to make sure that we can continue to spend the time with customers on the phone, but all of that has a cost. And the cost is that there's only two of us. And the fact is, when I'm on a 45-minute, there's lots of times when I go up to the shop, I get on the phone with somebody and, I can't be rude and just be like, hey, look, dude, I got like 5 minutes.
Well, and I'll just say it, because these are our friends here.
Yep.
Like, what ends up happening, and I think it's a subconscious thing, it's not a conscious thing, is someone gets Gary on the phone. It is not so much with me, but they get Gary on the phone and they know the level of expertise and the amount of information that's in that big head up there. And, they're not only asking the questions they originally intended to ask, they go down all these different avenues and just they're gathering as much information as they can out of Gary while they have him on the phone. And it ends up being this huge, long phone call. And he just can't do that all day.
Well, even the phone calls that you feel like you're on the phone.
It happens with me too.
Again, we have a very specialized service that we provide that is unique to any industry.
Sure.
And then on top of that, we're still a small business. So the fact is that, when we're on the phone with these people, like I look at Summer's, I'll just look at her phone. If I looked at her phone right now, I bet there's 30 missed calls, and we try to call these people back, but you can't just hang up on a customer. So the point is there's some people that get upset that, we can't answer the phone at all times. And by the way, folks, we do this 7 days a week. I schedule phone calls with clients on Sundays. We are constantly calling people.
Sometimes to my consternation, because I want to have a family day.
I will be caught talking to people at 10 o'clock at night.
And I'm pissed.
So the point is we are doing our best. And I think no matter what you look at it, no matter how you look at it, we're providing a better service than most. But there again, there's thousands of people.
There's only so many hours in the day.
Only so many hours in the day. And then, little things happens where, people get an email lost, they go to junk. And instead of calling us or following that up or anything like that, they just immediately get upset. And the fact is, running a business, you better get used to disappointing people. No matter how hard you try, no matter how much you put into it to avoid that. And we do. Look, our business relationships with our customers are extremely, extremely important. but things happen. So anyways, that's
This
a
is
little bit
what
of context for this email that I got the other day.
we got this on a Sunday.
And I can tell you, by the way, that a lot of the things in here are just utter nonsense. It's just not true. But anyways, we got this guy, completely anonymous email.
From a Hushmail
from
account.
a Hushmail
so you
account.
can't like figure out who it is.
He said, "You can include me among the countless potential customers you have kicked you to the curb for your universal lack of customer support. Phone calls unanswered, voicemails not responded to." I want to answer address that in a second. Email requests for product support totally ignored. I have rewarded other online businesses with many, many thousands of dollars of business while dumping several Paramount Tactical shopping carts. May karma be dished up for you to imbibe your just rewards. First of all, just reading this again, everything else doesn't really bother me. That last one, where you're basically wishing harm upon me and my family.
Yeah.
I take that personally.
Mm-hmm.
I get pretty pissed about it. So my response was, I really couldn't care less. You're too big a coward to even list your name or deal with this like a man. We missed your call, ? The voicemail message clearly says, if we miss your call, email us for faster service. We respond to emails and answer as prompt as we can, just as I'm responding to this one. This is the douchiest Karen-ass email I've ever received. In a search for your email, the only thing we have on you is a back in stock notification, which is automated. You're banned from doing business with us. If you're a man, you should seriously be ashamed of this email. It's pathetic. May karma, I put his little nonsense in a quote, and I said GFYS. So, that's my response to that. That's how I feel about it. So,
and I'll just add my quick feeling. Like, sorry, dude, but I'm glad you're on the curb, because if that's the kind of person you are, like, I need to make room and time for, like, someone just said it, scroll up a little bit. Chad said it best. Like, we need to spend our quality time with our quality customers. This guy had never sent us an email asking for anything. He had never made an order with us, which according to him was because we didn't answer the phone. But, like, there's lots of people that we give quality service to that appreciate that. It's a mutually beneficial relationship, right? Yeah, quality over quantity. Your quality customers will understand and support you. And we don't take that for granted either. We don't take any customers for granted, and we are certainly trying our best at customer service. But this guy, I don't have time for that type of person.
Yeah, and many people on this that are watching right now, by the way, if this guy would have said, "Hey, you know what? I've tried to email you multiple times. Look, I don't want someone to have to experience that." And what I have done when people have done this, I've literally, "Hey, man, I really apologize. Somehow it got missed." And I literally send them my personal cell phone number. Or, "Hey, send me your number. I will call you from my cell phone number." That's how I would have responded to that with any. But
that email, and then wishing ill to us and our family and our business at the end, like, you're done. Like, you're done.
Yeah.
I sent him a response as well, but we won't read that. Yeah. And then his response is, "I'm going to post all your responses for the world to see." And I was like, please do, because I want the world to know that we don't deal with this type of behavior.
I actually started to make a short and post all this stuff, but then I decided not to.
Yeah.
Only because on like the third take, I still wasn't.
I think we realized probably about.
Just cut me off. Don't worry about it.
Sorry. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, forget it. I forgot what I was going to say now. Wasn't
No, you didn't. You know what you're saying.
I was going to say I was going to make it short with that, but after like the third attempt of getting under 3 minutes that I couldn't, I was like, this ain't worth it.
No, I was just going to say, I think I remember sitting on the front porch, and I think we realized we were having this conversation about, 3 or 4 years ago, is that not every single customer or potential customer is our customer.
Yeah.
The right people.
And we want them to be.
Yeah. Potentially. But not that type of person.
At the same, there's a certain thing, especially over email, and of course we see it on YouTube and things like that, where people think they can abuse you into like either threatening to take the money that they were going to buy stuff from you, and that you're going to somehow respond to that. Folks, I'm not going to debase myself. I don't care if you're offering me $1 million, $10 million. I'm not going to like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." Like we're doing it. We're doing a lot. We work 24/7 almost.
You're not going to abuse us because you feel like you spent $5 with us.
And part of this, besides just kind of venting to you guys a little bit, but the other part of this is, again, there's many good customers on here, and I know we're not as fast as people expect us to be. And the other frustration that we constantly are going through is, you know, when we give people deadlines, whether they're ordering rifles or whatever else, like all we can tell you is what we've been told, right? And a lot of times, unfortunately, it's just not true, whether it's, you know, ordering Vectronics or MPAs and, you know, all these things, you know, we're kind of, we're as frustrated with all that stuff as well. So my point is, number one, I appreciate the good clients that we have, the customers that we have that are understanding, gracious, and all those things. And, you know, the other part of this is that we are continuing to look at ways to improve our customer service. What I don't want to do is compromise where I was going with that before. Like, we could automate all this stuff, right? We could have an automated, you know, answering service. We could do all those things.
We could do like a lot of companies do now and just completely turn off a phone number and you can only reach them via email.
And I don't want to do that. But that does come with a cost, right? And the cost is like, we're not going to be as fast as we want to be. Not everything's as efficient as we want to be. You know, we're not Amazon. If you order Sunday and order a Sunday and then you're calling us Monday wondering, you know, why you haven't received the shipping notice.
We're closed on Monday.
It's because, well, we're closed on Monday, and it's because, you know, it's Summer and I. But we are looking at ways. Summer's got a plan for hiring.
I do, you know, but the other thing too, I think even hiring some help in the store, that's going to be a process as well, because people are still going to want to call and talk to Gary about these expert things and his opinion. And it's not going to be the same. You know, we can have whoever in the store answering the phone until they're, you know, very trained up in the Paramount ways, for lack of better terms. They'll always want to talk to Gary, and you're on the videos. They want to talk to you.
They want to talk to me. They want to look at you. See?
No.
There you go. Somebody was asking about, so anyways, there's that. And that's a little bit of comic relief, as well as, you know,
we were on the motocross track when we got that email, and Gary knows about.
I was like, nope, stop. I was like, I'm answering this one. I'm answering this one.
Jeff Johnson said that email is him. He forgot to add MOA Mafia Forever.
I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it.
Oh.
It was probably Mike Henn. Mike Henn has been known to go under some pseudonyms.
Yeah.
He's a ghostwriter.
Oh, man.
Let's see. Hoven 56. Great content, Gary and Summer. Now, what is your opinion experience with the newer electronic scopes? Tech is marching on. Your thoughts? So I got to play around with the new Burris ones at SHOT during the range day of that. And I know Ray has them. I think he's actually releasing a video on those. Man, I don't know, man. I don't know. You're probably right. It's probably just the wave of the future. I don't want to be that dinosaur talking about how my Glock 45 won 2 World Wars, or my 1911. My 1911
Glock 45 is a good gun.
My 1911 won 2 World Wars. I don't want to be that guy, but I do. You know, I think for the average shooter, it probably is a good thing in that most people aren't going to take the time to learn the skill set of ballistics in general. So, yeah, I mean, it's happening. We used to say the same thing about laser rangefinders. You know, when I went to sniper school, you had to do a mill relation to everything. So you're out there milling targets, figuring out how far they are. And now that seems completely asinine, right? You need to be out there lasing that thing so you get a much more accurate, distance, so that you can apply the ballistics. And pretty soon we're going to have a scope that you're going to be able to hit a button, and the scope itself, everything's going to be within the scope, the laser, the ballistic solver, and it's going to tell you where to hold and shoot. And that's what you're going to do. That is the future. What I would say, and we're seeing that across the military as well. You have definitely a lot more electronics and things like that. My concern is that those skill sets die off, and they will. Just like nobody knows how to land nav with a compass and map anymore because we have GPS. So I don't know. Ultimately, everybody has to figure that out for themselves and figure out what's going to work for them or not. I do think on a reliability standpoint, we're looking at 3 to 5 years for a lot of that stuff. So we still got some time to enjoy, I don't know, our antiquated,
the old ways,
the good old times. Right now is the good old times, folks. Enjoy them.
It's the good old days right now.
So hopefully that answers your question.
Georgie said, if you want everyone to like you, sell ice cream.
Yep.
Somebody will find something wrong with your ice cream too. Oh man.
Oh, now summer's excuses start. See, Jeff is just talking mad shit all the time.
I don't want to talk to Gary. That's that guy. You're the person to speak. Oh, now he's trying to make it up. No customer support at 7:17 p.m. on April 30th.
And that's usually not true. Summer was literally texting.
I was on the phone with a
customer
client at 6:30.
right before we got
and
in
then I
there.
was texting a client at like 6:50.
Best budget-minded setup for beginners. I would say KEDX for sure.
Mm-hmm.
KEDX rifles. Jordan, clarify that a little bit. Are you talking about rifle, optics, all the above?
Handguns.
Yeah.
Right.
Wives.
Oh, Henry's on here. He was down at Pigg River too.
Henry was down at Pigg River too. It was good to see Henry. Those cannolis to die for.
Oh, I only got like half of one.
Yeah, and that was too much. I wish I hadn't give you any.
I'm pretty sure Gary came back with diabetes.
You mean the fixed 10X is not updated? Nope, still works, man. Still works. Otter. The links don't work on the chats. Maybe it does if I went over to Rumble. This is the complete system. Not sure what that was.
Ooh, Miguel. That's a good question.
Let me tell you something. I got that's one of the reviews. I'll just tell you, the Tingo Fire 4000 is 10 times better. Literally 10 times better. It's faster. It's a better unit.
Has applied ballistics.
I have it right over there. It has applied ballistics. So far, everything about it has been better. The only thing that I had to do, and you guys will see in the review, is I had to tweak the BC. It's the same problem you have with, I don't care if you're using a Kestrel, I don't care if you're using a ballistic app, whatever else. Like, you always have to tweak a little bit. But once I tweaked the BC on the projectile that I was using, man, it was first round hits out to the furthest we could shoot was 1,200. So first round hits 1,200. Matter of fact, Noah shot, it was the one he shot was 1125.
So that's why in the background of the phone call when you guys were driving, he's like, "Yeah, mommy, that Fire 4000 is amazing," because he hit 1150.
Yep.
That was cute. Noah's 11 for reference, guys.
Going if we're talking about rifles, I didn't see a follow up. I know I'm behind on the comments.
He said right there, rifle and optic setup for long range.
All right, so yeah, I mean, you can't really go wrong with the Tikka, and you really can't go wrong, really, even the Ruger Precision RPR. With that being said, man, those rifles, and I have to look up what a Ruger Precision and Tikka cost right now.
And like 6.5 Creedmoor.
6.5 Creedmoor.
RPR.
Those are within spitting distances of the Masterpiece arms at $2,700. So, I would recommend that if you're serious about doing, and here's a couple things too with that. If you can, I would save up and I would get the Masterpiece arms. If it was 8 years ago, back when Ruger Precisions,
it's 1,600 for the RPR.
1,600.
Yeah.
Look, you can do a lot with that. I don't know about the Tikka. What does the Tikka cost?
Let me see. Tikka.
Well, here's what you're going to have to.
T3.
You almost have to do immediately with the RPR. It's spend another like $300 on a stock, because
that was the first thing you did.
The adjustable stock on that thing is absolute trash. And then there's a question of the quality of some of those shoot, some of those don't. I mean, that's just a fact. I mean, we see that all the time. I mean, the Tikka is going to shoot no matter what. But there again, I know the Tikka is going to be closer.
Yeah, the Tikka and 6.5 Creedmoor is 2320.
Yeah. I think Mike, you feel free to speak up.
Your base price on a 6.5 Creedmoor Masterpiece Arms PMR Pro 2, if you don't get the folding stock, is 2,600.
Yeah.
So.
And I would spend the extra $100 and get that. So, if you really want something that's going to perform and you're going to be really happy with, what I see too many times is people, they save, even if you save $1,000, and I know not everybody's made the money, and I understand all that, but but those, if you're gonna go the budget route, that's the way to go. I would rather you get a Masterpiece Arms and put a cheap piece of glass in there, like an Arkin or something like that, or the DNT. The new DNT, I think, is probably the way to go. So that's probably what I would kind of convince you to do. because you're not just getting your first rifle, you're getting a rifle that's really going to be relevant no matter what. You're not going to feel, if you upgrade later, it's because you want to, not because you need to. And then you also have a system, and of course there's drop-in barrels and things like that for the RPR, but you do have a system that where you can order another barrel for $600 and you're getting a precision rifle that literally you can go compete on a PRS and things like that. Like, yeah, you can do those things with RPRs and even with the Tikkas. You're just not going to be competitive. Let's be real. You can go get experience, things like that. So that's my excuse, my advice on that.
Oh, we do, when they've been selling super fast. We didn't make any announcements on it, but we do have a few 6.5 Creedmoor stocking rifles under the quick ship listings on the website, and then just got in a bunch of Sons of Liberty rifles as well. Oh, and you guys are the first to hear this. We have the limited edition OD Green Zico scopes arriving tomorrow. A couple of them, not our full order. I think they're just sending them out as they're ready. So I'll have a couple of the new OD Green scopes in.
Yeah. The other thing I'll tell you is that if, let's say, for instance, you buy a Tikka or a RPR, fact is the market's flooded with those. So if and when you do go to sell those, you're not going to get as much of a return. And the fact is, MPAs, we can't keep them in stock. Go to a gun broker. Those things sell like crazy. Even if you got several hundred rounds through that, you'll still be able to sell it and get most of your investment back. Whereas, with some of those other ones, you're losing money at the front, you're losing money on the back. And you
don't want to lose money at the back.
Jason, you're 100%. Again, a lot of these guns, just go look at the forums. You'll see where, for every Tikka's going to shoot, period. I haven't seen a Tikka that didn't shoot. But the RPR, for every one that does shoot really well, the other ones, there's at least another one that isn't going to shoot very well. So it is what it is. I'll tell you, if you guys haven't seen, I believe it's the DNT. They're sending me one for review. They're basically the guys that started Arkin. Apparently there was some rift, and another guy went and started another scope company. It's literally the exact same scope, but I will say the reticle in the DNT is much better. It has 2 tenths. I've also talked to our dealer rep, and I'm not a dealer and I'm not going to be until I test it. But the guy that would be our dealer rep, the guy that's sending me the optic, spent a long time on the phone. Apparently they've made some other performance improvements, but that scope is definitely made at the exact same factory. A lot of the same specifications. It does look better. There's some knurling on the turrets that look better.
Does it have that annoying thing on the bottom that keeps you from
It does. It does have, still does have the protrusion on the bottom, that plug. But everything else on it is better, and we'll see. And Ray said it was, so I trust his opinion. And speaking of this, that may be the option for you, bud. I believe his name was Justin. Find a used one. You can probably find a used RPR if you really are into the budget thing and you really want to try to save some money. You may want to find a used one. In worst case scenario, if that barrel's not shooting well, for like a couple $100, you can get prefits for them. So that's another option as well. But I was actually, I had high expectations of the Fire 4000. It was significantly better than I expected. I'll put it that way. Just borrow Gary's rifle. That's the cheapest way.
Indeed.
Giovanni, 6.5 Creedmoor. 6.5 Creedmoor. Like if I was to, I have this conversation 3 or 4 times a week, where I get someone on the phone, they're asking me this. If I had to get rid of, if I had to go down to one caliber today, it would be 6.5 Creedmoor. Like there's so many great things about it. It just does everything better than all those. And I wouldn't buy anything on the 300 Win Mag or Winchester short mag. If you're going to go 300 something, go PRC. But 6.5 Creedmoor, you can do anything you want with it. The ammo's cheap, low recoil, pleasant to shoot. You can go compete with it. You can go do whatever with it. You can go hunt with it. Anything, as long as we're not talking about large game.
I get this question a lot, so I'll ask it here for people's information. Is
Mhm.
they want to know, is 6.5 Creedmoor a good round to compete with starting out?
Yes, it is. Yeah. So number one, 6.5 Creedmoor is a great round to compete with. And so this is kind of the trend that we've been seeing. Number one, with PRS, everybody went to these 6 millimeters because they were wanting to push like over 3,000 feet per second. And the idea was behind that was, hey, we're going to cut through the wind. We're going to get to the target. We're going to minimize that time gap, which is the time the wind is affecting the round. So we're going to get there quick. Now, going back a few years ago, most of the targets on a PRS field were like 600 and in. That has continued to increase. The other thing that they found out is, hey, you know what? With these 6 millimeters, now everybody is loading that round that was designed to go like 3,000 feet per second down to like 2,800 to 2,850, so that when they're shooting at 200, 300-yard targets, they actually have time to recover and actually see an impact or miss. Because, you know, if you're shooting something at 3,000 feet per second, it's really hard at, especially under 400 and in, you're shooting off a barricade. It's like, and then, you know, you have no idea where that round went. If it missed, if it hit, if it did miss, where'd it go? Or even be able to see exactly, you know, you might be going from these targets at 400 yards, and you not only want to see that you got a hit, but you want to see where on that target you hit, so you can make those minor wind corrections as you go out further, where those targets are either getting smaller or they're just further away. So now what we're seeing is more of a trend back to 6.5 Creedmoor, because they're like, hey, you know what? I can shoot this gun at 2,800. I have plenty of time, still not that significant of an increase in recoil, but I have a much higher BC, so the wind is going to deflect it more. And on top of that, we're seeing a trend where in all competitions, they're pushing those ranges further back. So now you're seeing a lot more targets well beyond 600, all the way up to like 1,200 yards. So, you know, 6.5 Creedmoor is going to be able to do everything that you'd want to be able to do. And, you know, if you are wanting to shoot PRS or NRL or some of these other things, NRL is another great thing with 6.5. That is the cartridge for NRL. Everybody's using 6.5 because that's going to give you the minimal amount of recoil while still making power factor. So as far as an all-round round, man, you can't beat 6.5 Creedmoor. It's cheap. You can get it in the store. You can find good ammo everywhere. You're more likely to find 6.5 Creedmoor in a store, more so even than 308 now. I mean, that's just a fact.
Dr. Dan has a question.
Dr. Dan, I got a 20 MOA Night Force mount. Should I replace the 0 MOA mount?
NX8 1-8.
What's that going on, Dan? It's going on an AR.
Yeah.
Most likely. You don't need 20 MOA. As a matter of fact, for zeroing purposes, you may be, you're stressing that erector. So let me know what you're talking about. That.
We need more details.
Yeah. This is a great piece of advice.
I was laughing at Jeff's comments.
What did Jeff say?
How long is long?
What I should
Sorry.
What I should start reading is just the text change between me, Jeff, and Jason. That would be interesting.
Oh man, now my face is red.
Yeah, Dr. Dan, you're not gonna need. You want a 0 MOA. Go out
cantilever versus.
If you
straight?
definitely want cantilever. Hopefully that's a known. If you can go test it. I mean, if as long as you can zero, I don't know what you're zeroing it at. I doubt you're going to be able to zero at 36. You might be able. I mean, it just depends. If you already got it on there it's now used. I don't know if you can return it or not. You might, if you already got it mounted up, you know, go test it out. If it's not used, I would send it back and I would get a 0 MOA.
Good question from Chris.
Chris Fade.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No.
Deciding between a Zico 527 or 840 for my just ordered MPA 300 PRC. I'm thinking 527 is plenty out to 2,000, 2,400 yards. What application would you use the 8 to 40? This is a good question. Good information.
It is a great question. So first of all, you're gonna have to do some math What I will say is that the 8-40 has less elevation than the 5-27. You would think it would be opposite. I've actually been meaning to ask the guys over at Zico why that is specifically, because there's the same. There shouldn't be that big of a difference, but I want to say there's only like 85 MOA
I do remember
in
it
the
being
8-40. I think there's 100 or 120 in the 5-27. So that has to be part of the calculus. Why would you want to go to an 8-40? Like, for instance, on my 6 dasher, I have an 8-40 on that, and that is set up to be a PRS gun, right? So the reason that you might want to go with a higher magnification, not necessarily because you're going to use all of that magnification. One of the benefits of a higher magnification is, so if I do want to shoot it like 20-25, being that I'm not at the maximum magnification on that, the eye box is going to be much more forgiving. As you get to, on most optics, as you get to max magnification, like you have to be, if you move just a little bit, that exit pupil is so small that now you've lost vision, right? You can't see what you're shooting at. So it's much more, when you're not at max magnification, it's going to be much more forgiving. So that alone right there would be kind of the reason that I would say go to an 8-40. Now, if you're
for that distance.
Well, no, not for this
okay.
distance. That's if you're doing something like PRS and things like
Gotcha.
that, where you're not going to be just shooting from the prone. Now, if you're just going to be shooting from the prone and you don't expect to be shooting in uncomfortable shooting positions and alternate shooting positions from barricades, things like that, 5-27 is not only going to be fine for shooting the distances you're talking about, but on top of that, it's going to give you more elevation. So on the 8-40, if you really want to be able to reach out to 2,400 yards, you're probably gonna need to get not only a 20 MOA base, you probably need 30-40 MOA built mechanically into that to be able to reach that. And then you're going to have problems zeroing at 100. But you can do an alternative zero at 100, or actually zero at 200 or 300 or whatever it is. So, that's where you get into some of the nuance of some of these questions, like what are you doing with it? If you are, shooting from barricades and alternate shooting positions, I would say go to the 8-40. If you're not doing that, 5-27 is plenty enough magnification. Yeah, Dan, if you're not having an issue with zeroing or anything like that, then it's fine. Just stick with the 20 MOA. Like, that's the only real consideration. Like, you don't need 20 MOA with an AR. Like, you're not going to be shooting that distance. The optics today come with so much magnification. I'd have to look to see what the NX8 comes with, but you have so much elevation. I think it said magnification. You have so much elevation that it doesn't matter. And on top of that, if you're going to do tactical games in action sports like that, you better get good at holding anyhow. So you're probably not going to be dialing that much to begin with. You just need to be able to zero. And from there, it's just a matter of using holdovers. So, yeah. And I will say, like Jeff is saying right here, there's going to be times, I don't care if you're shooting 1,000 yards, there'll be times where you'll wish you could utilize that 40X, but at the same time, you start dialing that stuff out, you get in those high magnification ranges, and man, it also is going to increase not only mirage, but a lot of things. You can see the atmosphere a lot more at that magnification. Everything gets harder when you're at those high magnifications, but there will be times when, the conditions allow you to utilize at least most of that. I'll tell you too, I would almost be remiss not to at least recommend the Zeiss LRP S3 6-36. The optical quality is not quite as good. I don't think you'll notice a huge difference, but there's a ton of elevation in those. So that's something to look at too. But the 8-40 or the 5-20, look, the Zico is going to be better. It's going to be superior when it comes to optical quality, period. There's no doubt about it.
Georgie says, any chance to have a review for the Athlon Cronus G2 UHD versus Night Force spotting scopes?
Let me make sure I know which one we're talking about on that one, because there's
a
one
couple of they're spotting scopes.
Cronus HG2H.
UHD. I can't see anything with these lights.
Yeah. Okay. So let me just make sure that we're, yeah. All right. I'm going to share the screen so you can see what's going on with this. Share screen. No, I will not be doing a review because I've already basically done one on this. It's this one right here. This thing is, let me make sure it's sharing.
No, add to stage. There you go.
So this thing is one of the worst spotting scopes I've ever used in my life. That's why I'm not going to be doing a review on it. It is super funky. The optical quality is terrible. It is a first focal plane. It's the worst first focal plane spotting scope I've just about ever used. So no, I won't be doing a review on it. That's my review.
The ones that we carry are the Aries.
The Aries, it's a second focal plane.
And it's cheaper.
It's cheaper. And it's really, really good. It is really good.
And you did do a review on that.
And I did do a review on that. So there's that. Yeah, again, if your optics, look, whether you realize it or not, and this is one of the things that Zero Compromise actually advises against, because when you zero that, you are stressing the erector. So every time that you go down to zero on your turret, if you have 40 MOA built in, most optics are going to handle it just fine. It's not going to be an issue, but you are maxing out the negative elevation internally in that. Just realize that.
Paul said, tell him, Gary.
Oh, by the way, we are now officially a Swarovski dealer too. So
and
if
Collis.
you want ATS or STS spotting scope and Collis, we can definitely help you out. Let's see.
Hank said, I'll agree with the Zico 8-40. Very crisp. He would know. He just got a new one.
It is like, once you go Zero Compromise, and I haven't put the Collis next to them side by side yet. I will. The Collis is awfully close. They probably get in the glass from the exact same place, as far as I know. So no one needs notification. It does be. Yeah, okay. Oh man. Oh, another thing that I did want to announce. A few of you know about this that are on this chat.
Do I know about this?
Yes, you do. It's our latest and greatest big purchase.
Oh, what was that?
All the actions we have coming in.
Oh yeah, Jesus, that was the latest and greatest for sure. I think I still owe them a lot of money.
Yeah. So, just so you know, we just ordered 110 Defiance actions. A majority of those are going to be split between the Ruckus and the Deviant. And then there's a mix of the stainless steel and the nitride coated. And then there's another 30 that are kind of a mixture of both, of long action, some left-handed ones, and some titanium ones for hunting and things like that. So we already have a bunch of Bartline barrels on order. We will be making barreled actions. And then on top of that, we're going to give you the option of whatever chassis that you want, right? Or a stock. McMillan just called me the other day.
Con is not chewing tobacco.
No, it's not chewing tobacco. It's pouches, which I do not recommend. Zen pouches, out pouches are much better. Been ordering those, but I was just out and I have some more of those in order. Zen are for commies. So anyways, that is and what we're going to do with that, I'm considering taking some custom orders. I kind of want to stay away from that, to be honest with you. What I plan on doing is just put them up on the website. We're going to have the barreled actions and then just order them as you go, whatever configuration. I don't need any more phone calls. Where's my stuff?
I don't need any more custom orders to keep up with.
and then what you'll have the option to do is to pick through the different chassis I actually want to get up and show you this Wooks chassis, but if I do, YouTube will think it's a GUN and then give me another strike. Those are beautiful as well. So right now you have the option of buying KRG chassis from us, MDT, MPA,
and
Wooks. I haven't finished the review. I don't think there's going to be much to review on that, to be honest with you, but I'm going to do a video on it. Those chassis are beautiful. If you want a wood chassis or fiberglass, or carbon fiber or micarta chassis, those things are the prettiest,
gorgeous
chassis I've ever seen. It is the just such a great mix with traditional with modern features. The nicest wood chassis I've ever seen.
But wait till we get them listed. Don't go buy them anywhere else. Buy them from us.
So anyways, and then on top of that, we also have a bunch of ARC actions. The American Rifle Company coup de grace actions that we'll be offering as well. Man, I was just telling Jason and Jeff the other day, the more I use that action, the more I love that action. I think that is probably the most underrated action out there. It is so good. I really have come to like that mechanical ejector that's on that. It's nice, especially if you're like zeroing or doing, just accuracy testing or whatever else. You can control, where those rounds land. If you want to throw them way over there, you can. But the mechanical ejector on those is pretty nice, and they just function. They do really, really smooth out after several hundred rounds. But they start off pretty smooth to begin with. But they're a really, really good action. That's something to think about too. I do plan on offering some other actions. I've talked to Bat. I've talked to. I'm looking at Terminus as well. So that is kind of one of the things that we're going to be implementing. We're still going to sell Masterpiece Arms rifles. We're still going to sell KDEX rifles. But I do want to start offering people, we're missing a lot of business in that we aren't, there's some people that just don't want an MPA, right? They want something else. They want Bartline. They want the Defiance action. They want whatever other action. So that's the direction that we're headed in. The other thing that I really want to do is, NRL has become bigger and bigger. That's another thing that I'm missing out completely on is, the hunting crowd. There's a lot more hunters out there than precision shooters or PRS shooters or competitors or whatever else. So I want to start offering some really, really nice hunting rifles that are lightweight. But the other thing that this is probably 6 months to 9 months away, is we'll start offering like an NRL setup ready to go with all the attachments on it, and it's going to make weight, right? It's set up, it's ready to go. You can buy that, take it out of the box, and then
sorry, I imagine me like at the store, like weighing all these rifles. I know, I'm being silly.
So
listen, I'm delirious at this point. Okay?
You'll be able to open the box, go zero it, and go shoot an NRL match, and that all between the rifle setup and whatever the bipod that we choose or whatever else is going to work, and then we'll be able to give you some options to that. So that's the direction that we're headed in. I'm pretty excited about it, and we'll see. We'll see how it goes. So right now we can get Bix and Andy triggers,
and we'll also, I just want to add to that, we can also sell Defiance actions standalone.
Oh yeah,
so if you want to buy an action and you want to do your own thing, more power to you. I will sell you an action.
That's right. So we'll sell the actions individually. Triggers right now I plan on going with Trigger Tech. We can get Bix and Andy from MPA. We'll offer that as an option as well. So what Gary is saying is more work for Summer.
So we gotta hope for advancements in science so they can clone me.
Well, and we just gotta. Summer's looking for someone to replace her. There's going to need to be 3 people that need to replace her, right? She's just going to have to come to grips with that and realize that.
And then
no one is going to do what Summer does.
Listen, Jeff, I'm already handy with a torque wrench. Okay, I'm pretty handy dandy.
Summer is handy with a torque wrench. Yeah, the ARC coup de grace is just seriously, it's like no one talks about them, but they should, because they're just they work every single time. They're smooth, they're good. They're not like I don't know, they're not one of these super premium actions, but they're damn good.
Greetings from the Netherlands. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so we are offering more and more reloading stuff. We'll start getting in. We already have anything the Area 419 has, folks. Not only can we get it, we can get it quick. So even if it's not on our website, let us know.
Yeah, I just
providing they have it in stock.
I just purchased a whole Gen 2 Zero press and some dies and starting a whole setup for a gentleman. Ship that out this week, as well as I even have a couple of Zero presses in stock.
I'm actually looking at Jeff's and Jason's.
Jeff said every woman ever, yet stuff is still broke waiting on. Stuff doesn't stay broke around here waiting on a husband. I just do it. Ask Gary.
She does.
I don't want to wait, so I just
like,
do
what
it.
Are you doing?
I'm moving this dresser upstairs.
Well, she's still pissed about it because she expects me to read her mind.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do. Like, you should have known that I wanted this dresser that was in our room. I now want it in the boys' room.
It's not worth asking you, because you'll be like, well, you shouldn't move that there. And I'm like, well, that's where I effing want it. And so I'm not going to ask you for help because I don't want to hear about why it shouldn't be there.
Dennis, hey, thanks for reaching out to us from the Netherlands.
He's probably like, these people are awesome. Crazy.
Yeah, you caught us on a wild night. Recommendations for muzzle brake for 300 PRC. Man, you're never going to go wrong with the DN3, the MPA DN3. That is such a good muzzle brake. Is it one of those fancy ones that Ray was just the $600 ones Ray was just reviewing? No. But it is really, really, really good. So the DN3, those are on our website. I would put that on just about anything.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Miguel says, I'm just getting a long range. I'm getting a Sako TRG 22, going big hard. I have my optic and rail and bipod. What are the first thing I should do to get my rifle ready to shoot? Well, I have a whole, number one, you need to go over that rifle and make sure you need to look at the owner's manual, try to find the torque specs on that, and then go over the torque specs. The other thing you should do immediately is clean it. Depending on, I don't know if Sako comes with some rust preventatives and anything like that on there. I would clean it real good, make sure it's good to go. If you got a bore scope, I would even take a look at the bore and run that through there. That's always that's just a good course of action to take. I do that with most of my new guns. The next thing is just making sure that you have everything set up. I have an entire scope mounting tutorial. Go check that out. Make sure you mount that scope properly. Do a tall target test, if not a full tracking test on that. And that's a really good place to start. Dennis, we don't ship to the Netherlands, do we?
Mm-mm.
No, we don't.
No.
For those of you
not now.
Other than Canada, we're shipping to Canada,
Puerto Rico, yeah, and U.S.
One of the problems that we've run into is that our business is classified as a firearms because we're trying to ship to Australia, which, by the way, I'm trying to get a store set up in Australia with Chris that you guys see on the Counter Media podcast. That's something that we have in the works. I'm pretty stoked about that if we can make that happen. But because in the financial system we're listed as a firearms dealer or whatever they have us in the freaking ESG categorization that they have us in, we cannot process payments or payments just won't get processed
from lots of different places.
So
we tried every setting possible. Our card processor company was like, oh no, it should work. But the payments will not come. It happens with Australia. Great Britain, like multiple places that we've tried. I know I'm missing some, but
yeah. And as Paul said, get some training. I don't know where you're at, Miguel. I would highly recommend that you come to our course. I think that's the best training that you're going to get. But I have a suspicion, being that you mentioned Sako, that you're probably not in the U.S. So if you're not in the U.S., find some training. You'll spend whatever you
come to the U.S. and come to our training.
Or you can come to the U.S. and come to our courses.
Even a non-citizen can come to our training. They can legally handle a firearm in the country if they get a temporary hunting license.
Yeah. And we've done that. So that's a possibility. If you're not coming to the U.S. for training, get training. Whatever you spend on training, folks, you're going to make up so many times over. And because what you're going to end up doing is you're going to waste a bunch of ammo. You're going to do things really wrong. You're just not going to be able to capitalize. You're going to, I would say come to one of our courses before you buy anything. But looks like you got everything bought already. But as far as other accessories and things like that, we can guide you on. Myself and our other instructors, Ray, we have wasted a lot of money buying the wrong things. We want to prevent you from doing the same thing, but get some training. You'll get a lot more out of it.
If they do ship, do not use UPS. Yeah, UPS charges like all these broker fees and all kinds of stuff. So does DHL and FedEx or any of the contract carriers. They're going to charge you a fee so that they can make some money as well on top of the shipping, because they don't get any of the customs.
Yeah, you're welcome, Miguel. What else we got going on, bud?
I don't know. I was at the store today thinking about a lot of stuff to tell people
Well, we got
about.
TAC Carbine this weekend, right?
TAC Carbine this weekend. We
Handgun
got
the
a
next
couple
weekend.
more slots in handgun for weekend after next.
Yep.
But yeah, classes coming up. Lots of new product hitting the shop.
We got KDX rifles. We've been selling those things. We haven't even advertised them, and we're selling those things left and right. I'm really stoked about those. Number one, I really like the product. We're actually planning a trip to go up to KDX manufacturing shop and go check that out in Canada. If they'll let us in.
If they'll renew our passport after they see the YouTube
I'm not worried
channel.
about that. I'm worried about Canada letting us in. I'll probably be banned or something.
Yeah, probably.
I was thinking about some new products that we needed to announce that we have.
Well, we got all the Collis 5-40s on order.
Collis, yep.
Like I said, we just got in a bunch of Sons Liberty rifles and uppers. We got the new OD Green Zicos on the way. Does seem like we do have a few stocking chassis from MPA in. We got the new MDT JAEG 5 chassis in. People have been super impressed every time they see those in person.
Yep.
What else?
J Allen chassis. Yeah.
Yeah. It just seems like we got so much new stuff in the store. But
do we have the Trigger Techs on the website yet?
Yeah. Trigger Techs are there on the website. They're in stock.
So we got Trigger Tech diamonds.
Yeah.
Those are what I plan on putting in all our barreled actions as of now. Look, the Big Sandy, I love. I think if you're willing to kind of tinker with those, you can make those feel better. Then you can customize the feel and the pull weight, obviously, with the trigger, with the Big Sandy. The Trigger Techs just feel awesome, period. And then it's just so much simpler. You only have to adjust the pull weight. That's it. The Big Sandy are a little bit more involved. So for some people, they prefer that. And I think you will get to a pull weight in a break that you're going to like more. The potential for being a much or a significantly better trigger than Trigger Tech is there with the Big Sandy, but the Trigger Tech is pretty hard to beat with just adjusting. So that's why I'm going to go with those. I still get calls all the time with the Big Sandys, and I understand it is a little, you got to play back and forth with that too.
And this is another instance. We were down at Pigg River. It was literally Saturday evening at 9 p.m. I had just shipped a customer's rifle before I left to go down to Pigg River, and he got it. And he couldn't figure out how to adjust the Big Sandy trigger. So I'm sitting there texting him at 9 o'clock at night on the Saturday night and sending him over the specs on it and the manual of how to adjust it. And he was like, man, this is so awesome. He was happy. So
yep.
Anyway.
Yeah. Jeff knows. For being such a FUD and an MOA turd, Jeff knows a lot.
Yeah, he likes the coup de grace. He likes the Big Sandy.
Let me tell you something. I'll show you the best bags available, sort of.
Well, they're not sort of available right now.
let me grab this guy real quick. Where's the other one?
I don't know.
I had it.
You have all that stuff. You're accountable.
These are the best bags I've probably ever used and came across. These KDX bags.
Whoa.
Oh, who cares? So the best, the most well constructed, and I have a bunch of expensive bags over there, folks.
Yes, he does.
And I'm telling you, bags that cost 3 times as much the way they used to. There's a reason I'm going to get to a caveat on all this. These are the nicest bags I've ever seen. And until like yesterday, they were pretty darn affordable. The largest one, they come in 3 different sizes. The largest ones will hold the
CDX 50.
Trimmer 50.
Trimmer 50. Sorry.
God, you don't know anything about
I don't know
this business.
anything.
I actually, to the point to where I was like, hey, can we get these and sell these on their own? And the answer was yes, you can. And they were, again, extremely affordable. For the largest one, it was like $240. And then they went down to the 3
And
different
that's
sizes.
a freaking bargain for that bag. I'll say that is a
100%.
super nice bag.
So I put in an order for 8 bags only that I was just going to start stocking those in the store. I got a call today from our dealer rep who's like, hey, about those bags you ordered. He's like, so we do get those made. Apparently they do come from China. You wouldn't know that because I'll tell you right now, those things are constructed like London Bridge or better.
I assume they were sewn in Canada or something.
100%.
They look good.
Everything about them, I thought those were American made or made in the continent of America. Anyways, so there's like 160% tariff on there. And out of the 8 bags that I was getting, I would have had to pay $1,600 in tariff fees on top of the wholesale price of those. And I'd have to do the math on it.
Made the bags like something like 400% more.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but
200% more.
It was significantly more. So the point being is
we'll wait
on that. But other than that, I don't know. I don't have a good answer for it.
I mean, we're a burlap stock dealer. You like their bag.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, so that is a good option. I do have an burlap stock over there that I actually like a lot. It's still not as nice as that. The padding on this thing in the stitching and all the pockets.
I'll be honest,
laid out.
That thing is so like the padding and even in the pockets and stuff, like you can have extra barrels and stuff in there. And like I have to open the pocket to even be able to feel the extra barrel because the padding is so good. You can't really tell what's in the pocket or if there's anything in the pocket. So,
yeah. 100%.
And no, you cannot buy any of these bags. They all are accounted to a rifle. Sorry. Says, with the new old liberal government reelected the day before yesterday, KDEX will likely move its production to the U.S. I mean, they already have an FFL in the U.S.
I was actually shocked that they were going to get another liberal government in there. I don't know. I don't know what we're doing in Canada.
So we have like people that come out and train on the facility that we're at from different governments and countries and things like that. And we've had Canadian guys come through several times and they come up to the shop and they're always like, oh man. And they're just, going on and on about the freedom in the US. And they all had high hopes that things would change, but it doesn't look like it's going to.
RW Airgun Smithing says, I love your technical videos and your no-nonsense position to the laws of physics. I don't know if you're insulting me or complimenting right now.
It's like, this is science.
I mean, you can't get away from it. We can pretend that physics doesn't exist, and most shooters, I don't know.
Derek, we did say we're in a burlap stock dealer. 100%. I have a few things in the store, just small bags. I have some packs that have been on back order for freaking forever.
Those packs I did a short on the other day.
Yeah.
Those things are awesome. If you're going to carry a man bag, that's the man bag to carry. I'm actually going to get one of those. Those are pretty sweet.
Gary, I'll fix the DN3s. I just got some in like today in a shipment. I'll fix that for you. You're looking for the 30 cal, I'm assuming, because that's what's out of stock on the website.
Yeah, he has a 300 PRC.
Yeah.
Yep.
I got you covered, Gary.
No, you don't want the DN5, Gary. The DN5 is not rated for Magnum. Or
anything above 7 PRC is not rated for.
It's so skeletonized on the top that I think either they have or they're concerned that it will actually blow out. So
don't worry, I'll fix it.
Jason said your jeans are padding a tiny barrel. It always. There
you go, Gary. They're in stock now.
They're in stock, Gary. Get it before they're gone.
Yeah, get it before it's gone.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. I figured it was. I was just kind of giving you a hard time.
He was just joking back.
Yeah, I know.
He's going to have a purse.
And I'll still be more a man than you, Jason. How you like them apples? I could wear high heels and.
Oh, please don't. Please don't. I can't imagine you walking around in high heels. You would fall.
Oh, I would.
Immediately.
I would. Oh no, I'm definitely sunburned. Look, I'm a ginger. It's sunburn season. I'm just gonna stay red all the time.
I did get a little. I got a little. I didn't really get sunburned down at Pigg River, but I got a little sunburn out at the motocross track Sunday because I was just trying to stay warm by sitting in the sun. It was freaking cold.
Yeah, I'm always gonna be promoting Area 419. Man, Area 419 is just. I was texting Craig Arnzen today. Man, those guys are just awesome. Those guys are great to work with, and I've had the same experience. I talked about in the video a little bit on the KDEX. KDEX guys have been awesome too.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, most of our the people, our retail partners,
our manufacturer relationships.
Our relationship with MPA is awesome. Those guys have just always been great.
Our Night Force rep is amazing.
Night Force rep, Zico.
Yeah.
There's really not. I can't think of. There's
even our MDT rep is amazing to us.
Yeah, there's some of these people that we don't interact with as regularly, but they've always been awesome. Mm-hmm. But what I can tell you is that Area 419 is just some great guys. The guys at Fat Boy, Connor and Casey, those guys are freaking awesome. Yeah, they've always taken care of us. And I'll tell you, it definitely is, to me, is a real. Like, there's one manufacturer we're having a little consternation with right now that may get the boot very soon if they don't
straighten it out.
They don't freaking change their attitudes. But other than that, I mean, we have some,
behind the scenes that you guys don't know, there are some manufacturers we've given the boot to. They're like, all right, we're done.
Yeah. For one reason or the other. Yeah. Usually because of their product. But the fact is like, there's a couple of companies, the ones I just mentioned, Area 419, Fat Boys, Accutac, those guys are awesome too.
Yeah.
I'm going to feel bad when I don't mention somebody later on. KGM, by the way, I got a great video coming with that. I'm still in the middle of that. I extended that video review to include the KDEX. Carrot Cow's been great.
Like everybody, like a lot of them.
Yeah. And there's those companies have made an effort to make sure that they're building good relationships with us. And maybe it's because we have a YouTube channel. I don't know. I think it's because of my glowing personality.
No, I think it's just a genuine support. They see the value in a dealer relationship and it being mutually beneficial, right? We can help promote their product. If they make a great product, we can help promote it, and then it's beneficial to us if they support us in that product.
Well, and I think we make an attempt to be a good team player too, right? If we got a company that we like, we want to be a dealer with, we try to establish that relationship as well, right? That back and forth, and like, hey, what can we do to help you, help us, help you, right? And it's all these, mutually beneficial, synergistic, symbiotic relationships that I think that I love the gun community. It's great.
Like a couple of manufacturers has seen it as doing us a favor by us carrying their product.
There's definitely some of those.
And that doesn't really ever work out well. We don't get the support we need. It's just, so anyway.
Yeah. And the companies that take that stance, like, it doesn't work out.
Mm-mm.
And it's usually like, it's just a good indicator or barometer of
customer service for retail as well.
Yeah. Like, and then there's those manufacturers that like literally compete with their dealers, which is a real problem.
Yeah.
Like when they're always running stuff on sale, but you have a minimum advertised price and they don't make sure that you're benefiting
or
from
they
that.
Don't protect your margin. Like, oh, we're going to run these massive sales, but we're not going to help out the dealer on the back end with the wholesale price.
So what that does is no one buys that product from you. They go directly to the manufacturer from there on out.
And when you're constantly running sales as a manufacturer, you're never going to sell the product again at full price. Everybody's just always going to wait for that sale email to go by. If you're just constantly running sales, then that's what people expect. And that's your new retail price.
But all that means is you were overpriced.
Yeah.
And you don't believe that your product is worth what you priced it at.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
What else we got?
glowing.
I'm not a dinosaur. I don't even know what you're talking about. Was that like a velociraptor?
Yeah, substandard products or too long of a lead time on products don't help. I can think of immediately one brand comes to mind, which back in the time of COVID, and they make a great product. It's made in the U.S., lifetime warranty. We've been a dealer for years, but back in the time of COVID, it wasn't really their fault, but lead times got super extended. Nobody could get their hands on product. And what ended up happening is I hardly ever sell this product anymore because everybody found replacements in that same category. They went to other brands that they could get product in hand.
So my HSGI.
Yeah. I didn't know if we wanted to say it. And I think they're aware of it. I've even talked to my rep there, and he's like, look, we know, and they're making every effort they can to make things easier for the dealer. So that's how they're trying to turn that around as well. They make a great product.
They do.
And everybody wanted it, 2019, 2020, and the lead times just went so far out that people found other things. So anyway.
What KGM can do you recommend for PRS? The R30, for sure. The R30.
Whether that be the R30T.
I would say the R30.
Or the R30.
Well, here's the deal. So the R30, which I can pull off and show you. Let me grab it. This is the R30T.
Can you touch a suppressor on?
Yep. This is for an airsoft. This is a suppressor. This is a KGM R30 for an airsoft gun. So this is the R30T. So it comes with the taper mount. So basically, it's a muzzle device. You go on there, and it's more or less quick detach, right? Even though I just literally unscrewed this off there, but I could unscrew it off the barrel just as quick, maybe 10 seconds, 3 seconds longer. I like the standard R30. Number one, this looks a little clunky or a little unrefined, but man, this can is amazing. It's a little heavier than the Ultra 9. I'll share with you guys the results from the testing I did.
While you're finding that, I'm going to answer a related question right up above. What's the current lead times looking like on a T-back Magnus SRR? Oh, it's looking like 18 months. If you don't have an order in line, or you're not able to grab something out of a dealer stocking order that they already have in line. Yeah. I mean, my last dealer order I placed, I think last month, because I try to place them regularly to keep product in line to try to keep in stock. I think the projected fulfillment date was early 2027 for that dealer stocking order. I think our SHOT Show order we placed is going to be sometime in mid 2026. So anyway.
Yeah. All right.
Did you do that?
What? Yeah, I did that. Okay. All right. I'll share these pictures of this. So this is the testing that I did with the KGM R30 versus the Ultra 9 versus the same exact rifle. It was an MPA with also the DN5 break. So that's what that is. Let me remove this real quick. So first I'll show you a 5-round group with the DN5. Image file, let's go to downloads. And of course, these are so small I can barely see what's going on here. All right, I think
you can change your view up there.
Where?
Like one of those little icons. So go to
I've never been able to change this view. Okay. And I've tried 1,000 times.
All right. I thought you could change the size of the icons.
Let me see if this is it. Let's add this to stage. No, wrong one. These so hard to see these icons. Remove studio. If I'm gonna do this, I guess I should have this prepared.
Yeah.
Let me try this one. I think that's it. All right. So no, I can't see that. No, That's the wrong one too. Wrong. And then if like when I add something to
Now they're
my
asking
upload,
me to flex, Jason. Oh God, this is not turning into the gun show.
here it is. Here it is. Let me open that up. I think that's it. Nope, that's not it either. Golly. Well, no, I'm going to find it. Just bear with me. This is what happens when you go live and you do things on the fly. Just suck it up. You're not doing anything better anyhow. Quit pretending.
Why'd you airdrop so many?
These are old, babe.
Oh, okay.
This is what I did just now.
Okay.
This is stuff that I have in documents.
Gotcha. I thought you just airdropped.
All right. Yeah, here we go. So this is the DN5 5-round group. All right. So this is what you can expect. DN5 5-round group, horn to the ELDM, 5 rounds.
0.319 MOA.
Now, what I've been doing is on a lot of these, I've been doing a string. Like if somebody just shoots a 5-round group or a 3-round group, and like, oh, look how good or bad something shoots. Like that's not the full story. So I'm trying to go back and forth behind the idea of 20-round groups, or what I did with the Cadex is I did 5-round groups. So you're seeing a large sample size and not just a cherry-picked group, right? I think that's important. Now, what I did when I was testing the KGM is I did 20-round groups. So I'll see if this is the right one. Hopefully it is. This was, all right, so this was a 20-round group with an Ultra 9. And yeah, and I'll tell you, this was with a flyer. So that flyer over there on the far right, I actually did another analysis of it without that flyer because I felt that flyer. Excuse me, I don't think that flyer was fair to include.
You just did that one.
All right, that should be this one.
That one looks like it's the same. I see the flyer.
It is, but I didn't. Yeah, same one.
Yeah, like I said.
Well, I was clicking on the one that I'm pretty sure was correct, and you said that was
okay. That's the one you just displayed.
Same one I just displayed.
I know. Yeah, where's the hell is your support staff? Somebody said someone pinch Gary.
Let's try this one.
Oh God.
Maybe that's it.
Maybe.
Yeah, this is it. All right, so I just removed that flyer from the count, right? So it gave me a 1.33, but that's 20 rounds, folks. That's 20 rounds at 1.33. All right, I excluded the flyer. So that's the Ultra 9. I did the exact same thing with a 20-round group of just the DN5. Remove studio. And then, which looked very similar to that, by the way. Let me see if I can find that. Looks the same.
I don't think you've shown that one yet.
But that could be, God only knows what that is. Yeah, so this is the 20-round group with the DN5. So you got 1.6 with 20 rounds. Like that's, there's a lot of guns won't shoot 3 rounds, much less 20 rounds in 1.5. And that's the difference between showing you a 5-round group versus a 20-round group out of the exact same rifle using the exact same ammo. So this is a much larger sample size, gives you a much better idea of what's taking place. So you guys can see that. And then let's take a look at the.
Sorry, I'm laughing at Jeff and Jason over there.
We'll take a look at the 20-round group with the R30. Let me see if this is it. Nope, that's not it.
That's the one you just did.
Okay. I'm gonna look at my phone so I can look at the pattern. I'm looking at these tiny little freaking icons up here that I can't read.
To make icons bigger.
I've tried. I've tried everything. All right.
Is this on your Mac?
Yes.
Okay.
It's this one right here. So this is with the R30. So that's 20 rounds with the R30. We had significantly less dispersion. And look, I think if I did this same test multiple times, we'd get pretty similar results between the three. Even one test at 20 is still a fairly small sample size, but that's 20 rounds the R30 versus what you saw the other.
So for someone that wasn't paying attention to the group size on the Ultra 9 20 round group, approximately what was that?
I think it was like
1.3.
One of them was like 1.3, one was like 1.5.
I think the DM5 was the 1.5. I remember
So
that.
At a minimum, look, the Ultra 9 is considered the standard as far as a precision suppressor. So at a minimum, what we can say is that you're not going to get worse. It's going to be the same or better with the R30, and I think that's fair. I actually like the tone of this slightly better. And the Ultra 9, I love the sound of it. I think this is probably slightly louder. It's still extremely pleasant, but I like it has a deeper tone. It has less of a pop. And it's been super consistent. So I've been very, that's the insider look to what I'm going to end up posting as far as the review goes. But it's super consistent. No, there's not. I looked everywhere. I've Googled this.
After we get off,
you can change the icon size if you open a folder, but you can't, like, if I'm bringing inserting in another file, and sometimes even when I'm looking back there on the screen and I'm right up against the screen and this one's like 4 feet away, those are hard to see if you're looking for small details or differences. And I haven't found any way to change that on a Mac. Maybe somebody out there can help me out.
Maybe your wife will help you.
Tony, we are. I don't know. Look, at the end of the day, freaking the last couple med courses we had were really light on students.
Mm-hmm. And it's a lot to coordinate with our med guys, and they do a lot of traveling. It's a lot to coordinate, and then to have to.
I mean, I'm kind of at a point. Look, training is a loss no matter which way, but especially on some of these courses where 4 or 5 people show up, no matter what type of. And it's always courses people say they want to do, but then they don't. They don't come for whatever reason.
And we're not directing this at you, Tony.
Nope, not at you, Tony. Not at anybody. And look, I get things happen and things like that. Like, I get it. But the fact is that there are courses that we can fill quickly, and we can either break even or make a little money. And that's what this business is all about. And at the end of the day, there's several courses that I've put up multiple times and they just don't fill.
Yeah.
So, and med course has always been one of those it's expensive to do well. And if we can't do it well, I'm just not going to do it. We can start doing, I'm sure if we did stop the bleeds and charged $125 a head, people would come. And that's nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, I don't feel good about it. I'd like something a little more in depth with the certification that we give with the NAEMT certification. But the fact is, it just costs more. Sort of, Alistair. I've been working on that review. Literally, I got well over 40 hours into that review. I'll be posting that this weekend. So you'll see the full Cadex, well, at least the Kraken. That's what I'll have that review done. I have a full review shot. I just had to edit on the Trimmer 50. I have that rifle up there. It's hard to see behind Summer's big head, but that rifle right there is the Cadex Covert. That's
you want me to move?
308. I'll do a review on that.
Like 18-inch barrel or something like that?
16.5.
16.
You can get it in 11.5.
308 bolt action?
Yep.
Pretty crazy.
After you fold the stock, you're talking like, I don't know, it's like that big, right? Pretty small.
Release
yes,
the Kraken. Uh-oh, X-Ring joined.
Oh, look who joined.
Look who showed up.
Con, that's what I'm talking about. If you click on the folder and you right click it, it does that. But when you're trying to import, if you're trying to import a file, they stay this is what I have. I right click. It says show in Finder, sort by date, sort by name, sort by tags. There's no option to make the icons that you're trying to choose better. And I've actually Googled this too. There's no answer.
And
for
when
it.
you go up there and click on that little drop down, it also doesn't allow you the option. Like there's a thing in Mac where it basically shows you a huge preview and you only see one file at the time on the screen, and you can see what it is.
Ray, you got internet. Jump on here, man. I'll send you a guest link. Yeah, but no, we had a great time. We had a great time at Pigg River. I wish we could do that more often. It was good to hang out with Ray. We had WG out there, and of course we had Mike Hinn, Bob, Paul, and Harold came out. It was a good time. Henry came out. Look who showed up. Matt Donkin showed up too.
He's just waiting for those OD green Zicos to arrive. He only came here to ask me if they showed up today. I told him he could be the first at the store to put his hands on one.
What other Collis optics we got coming in? We got some more of those coming in. What Collis optics do we have in stock right now?
We don't have anything in stock right now.
Okay.
We're waiting for all of them to
for the Collis?
For Collis, yeah.
Well, we had some in stock the other day. Those are already sold.
Those are already accounted.
Those were accounted for?
Yes.
Damn it. I was gonna grab a demo optic.
Those belong to Dave. Those are already pre-bought.
No worries, Ray.
Pre-sold.
No worries.
Pre-sold. You miss Gary trying to sell the massive Cadex tool bag that holds a gun too. Oh man.
I'm gonna get Ray one of those toolkits for his roadside emergency for Christmas.
You don't need it. Well, you laughing at the comments?
Yeah. Yep. But yeah. So anyways, folks, man, I don't know that we got much else to cover. Like I said, I want to jump on here. I know we skipped a week. I hate when we miss, but we had a lot going on. We still got a lot more going on. Like I said, we are planning a trip up to Cadex to go in Canada. What are we talking about? Like June? Something like that?
Something like that.
That'll be fun.
Yeah. I've never been to Cadex. I mean, Cadex. I've never been to Canada.
You can just call it Cadex.
Well, maybe they'll move and then
maybe it'll just be the 51st state. After all. Maybe it'll just be the 51st state.
And then we won't need passports. And she gets, I think Stephanie, I think you're more on the OD green bandwagon than
it's my birthday too. The nerve of that woman sometime. And she gets the OD Zico.
Well, just buy two. There you go.
By default, Finder has a keyboard shortcut for changing the icon's size. I had to go over there. Oh, yeah, Con, I'm 99% sure that works in the files, but it doesn't work when you're trying to export a file.
So Command plus and Command minus.
I'll try it.
Yeah.
Here we go. We're going to try it. Command plus.
No.
Doesn't work.
Darn it.
Doesn't work.
He tried.
Doesn't work. It works in a folder. If you open the folder, it'll do it. But when you're trying to export
file
from Mac to something else, whatever size you get, the size you get.
Georgie said we're welcome in Canada.
I've been to Canada. I used to live in the Detroit area. We used to go across the river every now and then.
We should use one of the bags instead of a suitcase. Oh, thank you, Laura. That's very sweet.
All right, folks. Well, I think I'm gonna be back there editing for a couple more hours tonight. I'm trying to get that video done. It's a long video, and we shot a lot of footage. I got footage through spotting scopes. I got footage through the trigger cam. I got footage from the camera. I'm trying to put it all together, all the audio, all the good stuff. It is a good video, though. I think you guys will enjoy it.
Which one, the Cadex?
Well, all of them. All the shooting videos are like that. So whether it's the trimmer, the Cadex, and then I also did the review on the Fire 4000 with the Cadex, and I kind of got the same thing going with it.
I don't know if you want to, but to give our people that always come on here and hang out with us a little preview, what exact videos are you going to be coming out with from that time at Pigg River?
The Kraken review, the Trimmer 50,
Mm-hmm.
the Fire 4000.
Mm-hmm.
I shot another MOA Sucks video, a little short video. I'll get around to posting that. Oh, and the other one that's coming up is the R30, the KGM review that started before.
It's 5 videos he's working
Five
on.
videos. 5 videos. I'm way behind anyhow. We did do DB testing. You'll see how we did it. I think it's actually a better. It's unscientific, but I think it's definitely much more practical and more realistic. Look, DB testing is freaking most of the time junk science to begin with. I got a lot to say on that. But anyways, yeah, we basically got a bunch of people's opinions. We did some ratings behind it. I shot it, all the rifles a couple times, and with the different suppressors on there. They had a review. They had basically a scale back there. They went through a questionnaire, and then they got behind the guns and shot it and got a perspective from the shooter's ear perspective, right? So I actually think that is better and definitely more indicative of what's going on with those suppressors than necessarily any DB testing. So take that for what it's worth.
Georgie was asking which KDEX location we plan to go to. I don't know, whichever one is the main factory.
It's in Quebec.
Yeah.
Quebec. I believe. I'm 90% sure.
Yeah,
that's what they mentioned.
I can't say that name.
He has it up here, doesn't it? Yep.
Yeah.
St. John Sur Yep. All right, folks. Well, listen, we appreciate you guys tuning in. I do believe that we are going to be doing a Counter Media podcast tomorrow night with Chris, so stay tuned for that. But we got a lot more coming. If you're not coming to training this weekend, you should be. If you're within the area or within driving or flying distance, which means worldwide, you should be there this weekend. We'll be having tactical carbine level 1 and 2. The following weekend, we have some handgun going on. Of course, we still have slots available for the August XP long range. June is sold out, but we're looking forward to that. So anyways, folks, thanks for tuning in. Look, Ann showed up. Glad to see you, Ann. Anyways, thanks for tuning in. And until next time, stay armed, stay ready. We'll talk to you.